I'm Christian Lamicka, and today I present you Josh Gracen. Josh, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Josh, you are very well known here in the US as one of the big superstars, but can you please introduce for the European country fans yourself, might be who you are, what kind of music you're playing, and so on?
All right, well, I got my start on a show called American Idol. Very lucky to be able to get that, and I was actually stationed on Camp Helen. I was actually in the Marine Corps when that all went down and happened, and kind of did very well on the show. Went all the way up to fourth place, and got lucky enough to be able to come here to Nashville and get a record deal and put some music out. And you know, I loved country music since I was 12 years old. I grew up listening to R&B music and rock music, and really started getting into country music when I was 12 years old. And now I'm 2 records have been released, and now we're getting ready to release a 3rd record. And the label trusted me to write everything and to produce it as well. And so I wanted to do something different with this album, and this album kind of takes you through a journey of all different genres of music.
Okay.
But it's country. It's country 100%, but it's different. It's got a different feel. You can hear the different genres, the R&B genres, the rock genres, the pop music genres, and even traditional country music on this album. And so for people that haven't heard any of my music, or for people that have heard my music, this is a whole different direction. It's 100% a new kind of feel, and I'm just excited with the fact that I was able to write everything and produce it as well.
So, by all the time you're now in the music business, you saw many things happens. So, what's the one which goes very personal to yourself, where you say, okay, I'm happy about it, or I'm very sad about it?
I think the one thing that's affected me most about the music business is just you can really only count on a few people, I think, around you, close to you, and that's all you need to worry about. I think the bottom line is, if you can just be who you are and find that, and be lucky enough to find that quick enough, I think that's what's going to take you to a whole new level. And I think that's what the fans, and I hate to use the word fans because it sounds so, I like to use the word friends. I mean, when you find those people that just love your music and want to be around you, I think that's the most important part, because it's all about showing who you are. I think there's so many people out there that love artists or actors or actresses and have no clue of who they really are and what they're about. I'm 100% different. I'm an open book when it comes to that. I mean, I'm on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, and nobody does it for me. I do, and I post pictures of my kids when something cool happens, like they're doing something cool. And like yesterday, my boy got a haircut for the first time, and he had this long flowing hair, and I was like, oh, should we cut it? And we cut it, and he looks like a whole different boy, and we put it on Facebook, because I'm proud. I'm a proud father. I'm a proud human being. I have nothing to hide. And so I think that's what people really want to feel, that a little bit closer to the people that they love seeing on TV, listening to on the radio, and that's what I've always been about. So I think the one thing that has affected me most, in the music, is that it's more closed.
Yeah.
It's more like guarded, and people really don't know who that person is. They could be presented as one thing to the public, but they're totally the opposite. And I've really learned how to kind of put that aside and just be myself. And it's taken me a little while to do that, but with this new label and this the new team that I got around me, and just the overall sense of, it doesn't matter at this point who I try to impress. The only thing that matters is putting out the music that I like and being who I want to be.
I believe it's a hard job to be a dad on the road.
Yes, it's a very hard job to be a dad on the road, but the fact that I was married to my high school sweetheart, and we've been together for 14 years now, it makes it a lot easier, because it's not one of those things where you found a girl after the stardom, and you don't know whether she loves you for who you are, or if it's the whole package. And the fact that she we were dating and we married before all this happened, before we even knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
She doesn't let me get away with anything. So she puts her foot down. She's very independent, and she handles things amazingly on the road with the kids. Having 4 kids myself, 3 girls and a boy, so he suffers the same fate I did growing up.
I have to ask this: you're starting your own background band?
What's funny is that they can sing. The 2 oldest are at the point where you know if they can sing or not, and they can actually sing. So it's just a matter if the other 2 follow suit. I don't know. The 3rd one's a lot like her mama, so I don't know if that's gonna work out too well, but. She's amazing, at holding down the fort. My wife is at holding down the fort and taking care of the kids. And I'm glad that I married somebody that was independent that could do that with me being gone so much.
You pronounce this independent so many times. So who have the trousers on at home?
Wow. I think we both do. I think we both have our moments. We really do. I think women always hold the trousers over men because that's the bottom line. It's just like all men want something. That's just the basic fact of it, whether you're married or single or whatnot, and women know it, so they use that to their advantage. But when it comes to decisions and things like that, it's a kind of a give and take. She knows if I feel really passionate about something, and she can really see that I've thought this through, she kind of backs off and lets me make the decision, and it's kind of a give and take like that. It goes back and forth, and I think that's the most important thing about being able to stay in a relationship as long as we have.
Is there a difference, do you think, between country music fans and fans of other different genres?
Yes and no. I think you have your traditional country fans that are very much like other genres, to where they don't like any other music and they speak negatively about other music. But then you've got that group of fans, and I think it's growing, and very much like the 50s and 60s, where they weren't used to hearing rock and roll music. Rock and roll music wasn't something they heard, and when it came out on the radio, any kind of new music like that, whether it was country, R&B, Motown, rock, it didn't matter. They wanted to hear it, and that's why Johnny Cash and Elvis was country. He evolved into what he became, but he started out as a blues country guy, and because his music got played on mainstream, it kind of developed into that. And I think that's what you're seeing nowadays. I think with the social media networks and with iTunes, and there's so many different ways to get your music, I think people are tired of listening to the radio stations play the same thing over and over and over again. And I think if a radio station learns, and grasps that, and the radio station comes out and plays top 40, plays the top R&B songs, and plays the top country songs, they're going to have a lot more success from a radio standpoint than they would the separation. And that's what I'm trying to do with this new album, how I explained everything's different. I understand that. I see that. I'm a person that loves all genres of music, but country's where my heart lies. Doesn't mean that I just should strictly do country. No, I want to bring all the genres of music that I love to sing and make it country. Kind of like Stevie Wonder did with his album. I forgot the name of it, but he took other people's songs like the Beatles and everybody and made it into his genre. We Can Work It Out, which is a cover song from the Beatles that he did. I like his version better than I do the Beatles, and I'm going on record and saying that because it's different. It's refreshing. It's something that was different than the norm, and that's what I feel where most people are at. Even people make the argument, well, the 30 to 40 or 40 or 50, they're set in their ways. Not true. They were alive and listening to music when anything was being played on the radio, and it was the spectrum wasn't skewed by this, and this. And I think they want to hear that too. I mean, I just clicked on a friend of mine the other day who's a state senator in Michigan. His name is Glenn Anderson. It was fun. He listed Maroon 5 as one of his favorite bands, and he's 50-something years old, I believe. So it's unique to see that, and I think the music industry needs to realize that people want to listen to good music no matter what it is.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. By the way, what's the song you would wish you had recorded and didn't before?
Oh, wow. The song I wish I would have recorded. Wow. There's a song on, it's funny I said Maroon 5. There's a song on Maroon 5's new album, called Hands All Over is the name of the album. But the name of the song on the album is called Just a Feeling. And there's another one called How. Those two songs are exactly what I've been talking about as far as they can be played anywhere. They're such great songs. Change a couple things here and there, and they can be played across the spectrum. People really need to take a listen to those, and I really wish I would have wrote them because they're amazing songs.
Let me come back you said you handle all your MySpace, Twitter, Facebook by yourself.
Yes.
Okay, tell me, please, how do you find the time for it? Because I handle my MySpace by my own too, but there are so many requests that I don't find the time to answer all of them sometimes.
Right. Well, sometimes, right now it's just, it's kind of like, obviously you can't answer everybody.
Yep.
So what I do is I pick and choose, what to answer, or if something pops out at me when I happen to look at the Facebook, because everything is constantly updating the status, so you don't see things that are way down the line. But what I do is, like, I'll post things on there that I want to post, and then I'll read the comments, and then if somebody asks me a specific question that kind of stands out to me, I'll answer it. But it's mostly giving them a window into my life, and letting them learn about me through that, rather than just specifically coming out and saying it all the time and answering questions. They really get a sense of that because I put everything out there. I take home videos and show them up on Facebook and Twitter and MySpace. I take home pictures and I ask them questions about life situations. What my kid just did, or what he said, or what he's doing, so that's the way that I deal with the Facebook and the Twitter. And then the label and management, what they do is they go on there and they post updates for me. Like if I have a show somewhere, or if there's a contest coming up, or if there's a cool event going to take place that I'm a part of, they do all the business stuff. But as far as all the personal stuff and everything and you can tell the difference. Like the personal stuff that I post, people know the difference. It's funny because there'll be like 100, 200 comments on something that I post, and there'll be 3 or 4 on something that the management posts. So it's funny how they know the difference. They know that it's not me posting links up there or posting about events or anything else like that. So
when you look back in your career, which is the most or biggest highlight for yourself?
I think when I look back on the 6 years that I've been in Nashville, I think the biggest highlight for myself is right now, and people don't know it yet, and that is the fact that I was able to co-produce an album and write everything on it is a huge highlight for me. To be able to sit back and listen to this project and really dissect it and try to think of every negative thing I possibly could have that could be exploited, and kind of make sure that it's not. And yeah, there's stuff on there that listening now that I want to do different as far as a new album. But that's the beauty of it. Like I just feel like I'm growing constantly with every new thing that I try to do, and that is really the highlight of my career right now that nobody knows yet, because is this album. Because I know a lot of artists, they do interviews and they say this album is 100% me. Okay. Well, it truly is. I mean, everything came from me, from the writing, from the content of the song and what it talks about, to the melodies, to the instrumentation, to the way it all came together. So it's going to be really exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time to see how people take it, the music, once it gets out. So
we will see you more time now in the future as a songwriter?
Yes, I think from now on I really feel like I want to write everything on the album and then feature a couple songs that I like from other genres that other artists did. Like on the new album, there's a song called Edge of Desire that John Mayer recorded on his new Battle Studies album. Love that song, and I thought that song couldn't go without the country music audience hearing it. They needed to hear it. Okay. So it's on the new album, and it's got a little different twist. I didn't change hardly anything. I just added a couple things. So it's very interesting that a lot of my band guys who are staunch country listeners, that's their favorite song on the album, is that version of Edge of Desire. So it's exciting.
Wonderful. So thanks for the time, and I wish you a lot of success with the songwriting.
Well, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.